All right, welcome everybody here in person and watching on the video. And glad to have you here. Made a last minute decision to go with art from the Hungarian National Gallery, and I feel like I need to explain myself here. Um, so there's a very good chance I'll be going to Budapest. That's my next European destination, and I don't know anything about Hungary or Budapest. And so the purpose of the EuroSalons for me is to not just kind of test artworks that I've seen in the museums when I've traveled and try them on you, but also to anticipate, to kind of get an idea of what I will find in these museums. And there are two museums in Budapest that I'm excited about going to. There's the Budapest Museum of Fine Art and the Hungarian National Gallery. What's the difference between the two? Budapest Museum of Fine Art focuses on more older art, going back to the Renaissance and the, the the Baroque. The Hungarian National Gallery is primarily 19th century, and as you know, that's the kind of art that I like to go to because I think it's the art that tells the best stories. So this is my excuse to go to the website for the Hungarian National Gallery and to seek out artworks that are on display at the museum to kind of build up some anticipation. And I want to give you a sense beforehand of what I found. And I've got 6 artworks that are going to be part of our little unveiling. And I want to say, first of all, there is so much in the world that is yet to be uncovered as far as great art is concerned. I had taste of this as I've been going through looking at art in different countries because the world is used to French art, English art, maybe a little bit of German art tucked in there, Italian art. And those are the main European countries that you'll find art that's still alive, that's still in the culture. I, when I went to Madrid for the first time, it was the first time I was exposed to 19th century Spanish art. I was like, wow, there's a lot of great stuff here. And now I'm just browsing the Hungarian National Gallery site. I'm having the same kind of experience. Wow. The 19th century is so filled with amazing art that is spawned by, and they're drawing from the French and the English, but they're doing their own distinctive thing, and they're all telling amazing stories. So that's just my way of saying I am very excited about unearthing all this art in Budapest and maybe even going to different countries and to this is making me I've kind of pushed off stories in paint part 2 a little bit, and a lot of work, a lot of research. This is making me very happy that I am doing that because there is so much more in Europe than I had conceived of that I think is really worthy of spending time with. And I hope you'll get a sense of that today with me. So, as usual, this is free, and I want you to enjoy as much as you can. But if you'd like to donate, please feel free to. There's Venmo and PayPal, and let me put a PayPal link in the chat right here. So if you like traditional links a little bit better, let me give that to you. And that's in the chat. Okay. I've got a couple of updates, and I'll share those with you. But first, hi, Daphne. Hi, Ifat. And oh, Ifat, I forgot your friend's name.
Oh, Leonid.
Leonid. That's right. Yeah, good to see you again, Leonid.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent. So let's get things rolling. Couple quick updates. I've been trying to write more. And my latest article, Paintings Without Sound, describes experience I had at the Quebec Museum of Fine Arts recently. Um, I don't often write about art history. I've got a particular way of approaching art history. I think my whole view of art history is I love artists, because I don't like AI. I love AI, but AI's got its uses. But I like the feeling of knowing that the art I'm looking at has been created by an individual human being, and this was one experience that really drove that home for me. So that is on my Substack here. I'll put a link to that in case you're curious. And the plan is to write more on that. So that's where I think for the moment I'm going to have articles going up there. So that's there. Now, in terms of what's coming up, there will be a romantic relationships class. I think I promised one in July. I'm pushing that off till the fall. I don't know what form that's going to take or when exactly that's going to take, but that's going to happen. And there's going to be another iteration of TTA 201, and that's very likely going to start at the beginning of October. And this is the course if you want to really practice and master the touching the art skills. This is it, and it ends with a presentation that you give to the rest of the class on an artwork that you've grown to love and to really bond with. And then I've got something else down there. I got to tell you, this past summer, I haven't done much art. I've done play reading. And you know why? Because the reason I love art appreciation is what led me to love and to try to figure out how to enjoy plays more. And I see a big, big similarity between reading plays and reading art. And here's a fundamental similarity. I didn't like both of them to begin with. And the reason I didn't like both of them to begin with is neither plays nor art told you what to do. It's not like a movie where you're drawn through the experience of reading the story. It's not like a novel where the author kind of sets up the story and guides you through it. No. With a play, you're just given dialogue. With art, you're just given images. And so there's a lot that you have to do in order to extract the most out of the story. And I've been using what I do with touching the art with the visual arts and applying it, which seems kind of strange, applying it to reading plays and finding myself growing in a capacity for enjoyment of reading plays, not going to the theater and watching them, but reading plays, and finding it to be a tremendously vivid experience in the same way that I find reading art to be tremendously vivid, because there's a larger part of you that is part of the experience. Versus watching a movie, you sit back and you let the whole story and the emotions and the music and all that. But you've got to bring a lot more to reading art, and you've got to bring a lot more to reading plays. And I think that there are some new and interesting things that if you're a fan of touching the art, you're going to enjoy about a different kind of way, maybe not a different kind of way, but some help. Maybe it is different. And reading plays. So things I've been trying to figure out. So that's also on the horizon. Okay. That's what's coming up. And if you're interested in any of this, email me. Now, Hungarian National Gallery in Budapest. I was trying to think, do I know any Hungarian artists? Because they're primarily going to be Hungarian artists today. There's one. There's one. And actually, there's a painting by a Hungarian artist in Stories in Paint. It's this one. This is maybe one of the most intensely dramatic paintings that I know of. That's I had to have it in Stories in Paint. It's at the Fry Museum in Seattle, and I'm not going to spend time with it because you can go to the book or you can go to the TTA app and find it and spend all the time you want. Now, another reason I want to share this one with you is because this is one of a couple of different versions by the same artist, Kaksi, a Hungarian artist. And there is a different version of this at the Hungarian National Gallery, and I want to show that to you right now. So this is larger and yeah, and Donna, um, I believe it's going to be up then. They have the Fry Museum has a strong Eastern European 19th century collection, and what they do is they have it in a huge salon. It's like one big room, huge room, all salon style, like 200 paintings up there, and sometimes it comes down. I think it's going to be up through 2025, but if I'd say just double check that. So just the back and forth there between the two. Actually, I think I prefer this one to this one, but still, just to give you an indication of the there's a lot to expect in terms of grand storytelling, powerful moments with artists and artworks I have no idea about. So none of all these artworks that I'm going to show you now, I don't know anything about them. Just picked them out of a hat. Just what I do is I go through and I go through the museum website. I click on artworks on view, 18th, 19th century, and I just scan and I click the ones that look intriguing to me. So these are just ones that are intriguing to me. These are not ones that I've done full readings of or have a meaning for. They're just pretty much instantaneous reactions. And so I'm curious to see what you're going to react to. I'm curious to see which one we're going to dive in, not knowing what's at the bottom of the water, but plunging in and seeing if we can find some delicious gold. I don't know. I'm synesthetic today. Delicious gold. Okay. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Do you want us to
Yes.
do titles?
Yes. 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 Oh, sorry. I've just taken it for granted. Okay. Initial titles for these 6 paintings on view at the Hungarian National Gallery. Here is the first one. What's your title? And then in the chat, just put it in the chat. First things that come to mind, I'm just showing you very briefly. Here's the first artwork. That's it. That's all you get. And if there are a couple of you, maybe you can indicate by the first letter of a name, like an L or an I and something like that. Oh, these are tough. No, no, you're making me agonize already. Keep typing if you're still typing. Donna, you have after. Stephanie, her fate is in his hands. Stephanie, stop being ominous. Uh, Torun, moment of silence. Daphne, thoughtful. Borav, office space. Leonid, before a long journey. Oh, intriguing. Okay. All right, so that's the first one. So remember, you're going to keep in mind what your impression, how intrigued you are, and then you're going to vote on one. Okay, so here's the second one. What's your title for this one? Oh, I really enjoy seeing your facial expressions as you look at the artwork and react to them. Okay, what's your title? Yeah, so if I were given a tour at the Hungarian National Gallery, this would be like on my short list of artworks that I would be okay. I want to go back to these and look more closely. Initial title for these. Hmm. All right, Stephanie, you have delivering bad news. And keep typing if you're still typing. Donna, you have grief. Ifat, reality after the death of a loved one. Daphne, blue night. I sense some double metaphorical meaning there. Torun, disappearing into own thoughts. Leonid, a long night. Gaurav, gone forever. Okay. All right. Number 3. What's your title for this one? There's a lot of people sitting at long tables that I'm giving you right now. Initial title. This one's it's kind of hard to make out a lot of it, but just an initial title. I think mine is What's Wrong, Granddad? That's my initial title. Okay, keep typing if you're still typing. Donna, you have Persuasion. Daphne, 3 against 1. Torun, Waiting for an Answer. Gaurav, Anticipation. Stephanie, Father's Had a Hard Day. Allison, Yes, Master. Ifat, well, what do you think, Father? Okay. All right. Number 4. What's your title for this one? I start seeing heads go sideways. um, I think mine is Up in the Trees. Keep typing if you're still typing. Stephanie, you have The Birch Tree. That's right. You're a botanist, aren't you, Stephanie? Um, Tarun, you have
We have
Holding On.
birches, so it's
Good, good. Tarun, Holding On. Donna, The Red Dress. And Leonid, Joy in the Forest. Hmm. And Gaurav, you have Who Is Up There? Okay, I think I've got 2 more. Here's the next one. And then Allison, you had for the previous one, The Sapling Revisited. I like that one, Allison. Okay, so what's your title for this one? I think mine is Hunk in the Woods. Okay, keep typing if you're still typing. Toro, and you have A Careful Tune. Daphne, Music for Himself. Hmm. Donna, The Seduction. That's intriguing. Stephanie, Solemn Joy of Music. Oh, I love reading titles by others of artwork so much because I ask myself different questions with each one. Okay, well, like with Stephanie's Solemn Joy of Music, I'm directed to what makes him look solemnly joyful. Seduction from Donna, I'm asking myself, who is he seducing? Uh, you know, with Daphne, music for himself, it makes me realize, oh, is he there by himself? Is it just for him? Okay, I'm gonna check mark that. Others' titles help me ask different questions when I'm looking at an art. Leonid, you have Joy in the Forest. Oh, wait. Joy in the Forest. Oh, this again. As in ah, title used from before. Got it. Got it. So you're seeing maybe some parallels you. Gaurav, you learning violin? Mhm. Okay, Leonid, I'll let you in on a secret. Remind me to let you in on a secret a little bit later on. I'm not going to say it now, but a little later on. Oh, what's with the crow? Who knows? Okay. What is the cause of that crow? Oh man, that's the worst pun I'm going to do forever and ever. Torn, that's the exact facial expression I deserve. Okay, one more. What's your title for this one? I think mine is, oh man, that's my title. Hmm. Okay. And keep typing if you're still typing. Daphne, you have slighted Leonid. One day. And Lena, just to follow up, if you want to share, when you're saying one day, is that like a quote for the young woman on our right?
Yeah, I
That
mean the thoughts of the woman on the right. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Thanks. Donna, I don't know, but she's about to faint with that corset. It's so tight. That is a pretty tight corset. Yeah. Not that I have much experience wearing corsets. Um, Torniev mother is watching. Ah, Gaurav, too shy. And then Stephanie, I think a quote also for the young woman on the right. What's her secret? Okay, great. So let me go back through and I'll show you all six and then we'll vote. And I don't know, maybe your vote will count for something. Who knows? So let's see what we had. Unveiling. First one. The office space after standing in judgment. Delivering the bad news. The blue evening. A long night. Which world do you want to spend time at? Three against one. What do you want, Granddad? Revisiting the birch or the sapling. The sapling. I like that one. Revisiting the sapling. Joy in the forest. Joy in the forest. Or seduction. Or music for oneself. Slighted. Tight corset. So let me give numbers to each. Okay, one, two, three, four, five, and six. Let's start off with just your first place vote. Where would you go if you only could only pick one? Okay. It looks like a slight majority for number one. And second place would be number 6. All right, so let's do this. We'll do number 1, and then if we have some time, we'll do one more. And I think I'm going to surprise you with which one it is going to be, the second one. Okay, great. So let me clear this board, and I'm going to invite you to, if you'd like to, write out your reading of the artwork, either on your own paper, either in the chat, and after 2 minutes, we'll say, I want to invite you to share what you see going on in the painting, and we'll try to figure out what the story is, what's happening, identify a situation, who the main character is, and then see if we can personally connect. But first, I want to leave you on your little journey through this artwork to try to piece together the plot. 2 minutes. I'll zoom in and out.
Are you going to put the painting up?
Is the painting not up for you?
Not up.
Do
I
you
can
guys not see it?
I can see it.
Yeah,
I can.
Stephanie, it should be up. It should be up. Let me know if you still have trouble.
I'm just seeing you.
Oh, you might have to click on something else. I don't know what changed for you on your end. Or maybe if you want to log off and log back on, that sometimes helps.
Huh? Where should I be seeing it? I don't know where I should be seeing it.
Try logging off and logging back on, and maybe that will get you back in.
Oh,
I think it's your windows or this in different places, perhaps. Yeah. About another 30 seconds. I invite you to find a stopping point. And I also invite you, if you haven't gotten a quote in for one or more of the characters, to get a quote and turn it into a play. And then I would love to hear if you wrote something out, just what you wrote out with your voice. Okay. Gaurav, would you like to read to us what you wrote in the chat?
Sure, I can do that. Yeah, it seemed to me that some sort of negotiation or conversation is going on between all three, and the way they are interacting and the body posture and everything, they are equals. It's not like one is higher in ranking or hierarchy, social hierarchy or anything. And they're going to collaborate on some aspect of whatever they're negotiating, but they're still deeply thinking about it. It's not decided. But it is important enough that it will define their future or some important aspect of their future life.
Okay. So right now I'm hearing these three individuals are all kind of collaborating, negotiating on something that is very important for their future.
Yeah.
Okay. And that they're kind of like all you're seeing them right now is all kind of equivalent in status as they're making these negotiations.
Yep.
Got a follow-up question for you, Gaurav. So what details are you seeing that's making you describe them as kind of similar in status?
Even though the two men are sitting, but the posture of the woman is not of a person of a lower rank or, who is not at the same level. And she's still like she's thinking, she's not looking up to them, she's deep in thought. So that means she's understanding what is going on and taking part in that.
Okay, so she doesn't look subservient
Yes.
to them, looking up at them or um, bowing to their needs in some
Right.
way. Okay. All right, great. Thank you, Gaurav.
Sure.
Let's keep elaborating on this. Donna, would you like to share what you've written?
Sure.
Go for it.
Interesting. I don't see her as equal at all, aside from the fact that the times, I mean, women still aren't considered equal. So given the times, I don't think that would have been the case. And her clothing also looks more like for a peasant style clothing. At any rate, what I thought was that the will has been read, her husband's will. There are debts. She has no resources. Her future is bleak, and the attorneys have no empathy for her in her darkest moments. Life was hard before, but what will it be for her now alone and impoverished?
Okay. So, first off, you were thinking that there's a bit of a difference in status. One, historically, just time period, but also you're looking at her clothing and seeing kind of peasants' clothes compared to the men's clothes.
To have, yeah, and they are seated, relaxed in their element, and she has sort of just been brought in and standing there. She is not seated. She's not at the table with them. She's separate and subservient, I think.
Yeah, both you and Gorov were pointing out the fact that she's not seated, and you're taking that as a significant indication that she's been brought in, asked to come in, demanded to come in, so that she's the one that's being talked to. And then you were kind of imagining a scenario where these are lawyers that she's dealing with who are having some kind of stake in say in her affairs, and they have kind of control of her future.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Even if there had been a will, that there's nothing left for her, and that there were debts would be paid.
So you know what I would love to hear, Donna?
But
I'd love to hear what this man is saying. What is he saying?
he's the troll, and look at his expression too. He's actually glowering.
Yeah, well, what is he saying? Give me a quote. Tell me.
Give you a quote.
Yes, dramatize it for me.
But you must pay by the end of the month, madam.
Ah, yeah, he's saying that. Okay, something
he's
like
the
that.
villain, right?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to keep following up. What is she thinking right now? Or if she were to speak, what would she say?
God, I think she just looks hopeless. I mean, what can she possibly do? I don't think she has any choices.
So she might be saying, I have no choices. Or what can I possibly do?
Prostitution, that would have been her option, probably.
Oh, man. Okay. Thank you, Donna. Okay. Well, not to leave. I like transition joyfully out of, yeah, her only option is prostitution now. All right. Thank you, Donna. Let's move on. Okay.
You are really rolling today, Luke.
I'm half sick and half caffeinated. Torun, would you like to share what you've written?
Yeah, sure.
Go for it.
Two serious men are sitting at the table. There's a lot of paperwork all over the tables and chairs. There's a cross on the table. The man, we can see his face. What I see is he looks aimlessly into the air, like as if he's almost caught up in his own thoughts. Also, the way he's holding a pen is like he's awaiting for something, like he stopped writing. And then there's a young woman standing up, pondering about something. She's standing in the light of the window, so she's quite lit up compared to the men. I don't think she looks particularly concerned or sad or either happy, but now I notice that her hands are quite trying to protect herself, like holding her stomach and across her heart. So she might be quite concerned after all. She looks sort of relaxed and at ease, which I'm now questioning. But she's thinking about something. Nobody's looking at each other or talking to each other, so there's a moment of silence between them. Maybe a decision that has to be made, or they're waiting for an answer. And the quote that I gave the woman was, "Just give me another moment to think about it."
Okay. A lot of interesting things I'm hearing there to help me enjoy this painting. The kind of moment of silence here, there's like a pregnant pause in this moment while he's raised his pen and she is kind of looking down, maybe thinking about something, like they're waiting for an answer. And I like that quote, give me another moment to think about this. Okay. All right. Thank you, Torun. Leonid, I'd like to invite you to share what you wrote. And hi, Susan. Welcome aboard.
Yep.
Yeah, feel free to just read what you wrote. I love seeing just the train of thought and observations you were making as you were going along, and kind of like the revelations, or as it happened. This is like a peek into your mind right now, Leonid.
So I'm just reading right now. So planning a long business trip, possibly a huge gamble for their family business to survive. Maybe they are going to the new world, maybe elsewhere. The room is empty. Probably many belongings are already packed. Only the papers are out there. The men going over the final details of the plan, kind of staring, thinking. The woman is probably going to be left behind. She doesn't look happy. Definitely she's okay. It's it's not a happy it's not a happy painting. Like all of the people there are not happy, but still the men are in a certain mood and the woman is in distinct in another distinct mood. So she's probably going to left behind. Take care of the house while the husband is gone. The husband is probably this guy with the mustache. No one in those days, I guess 19th century, something like that. No one knows when they are going to be back, if they are going to be back. Probably the husband promised her that if they succeed, she could join them in some time in a year or so, but she's still very worried.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, it's kind of different from. I mean, I can see I mean, I don't know the name of the painting, but so it could probably be a lawyer's office as well. But I see the map on the wall there.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like they're planning the journey. All the crosses, the cross in his hands, the cross in the table. They're maybe like praying
Mm-hmm.
for the journey to be successful. And yeah, the emptiness of the room, and like
Okay.
only the paper is left.
Yeah. So Leonid, you've got a kind of a scenario going on in your mind, which is okay. It looks like they could be possibly planning a trip, maybe to the New World. They're in midst of packing, but the conflict here is that the men are going, but the woman might be left behind.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at this and I'm extracting the basic questions from our kind of readings and maybe the hypothetical scenarios you're proposing. One is, what is the relationship of this woman to these men? Are they family? Do they know each other outside of this situation? Then two, what is this room that they're in, and why is there's this disarray of papers around? What kind of interaction is happening in this room? Is this a meeting, a negotiation, a planning session, or is it something else? Then what kind of going along with what the relationship is between the woman and the men? What is the relationship at this moment? Are they the ones in control of something? Is she the one in control of something, or are they having a kind of conversation amongst them all? Okay. So those are the types of questions that I think we can find answers to in the painting itself, maybe some cultural background. I'm reading from, let's see, Allison, I don't know if your audio is good. You want me to read what you wrote? Or if you want to read it out loud, please feel free to.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi. Yeah. Well, we had some debate, but we're settling on this one. So a grandfather's shame. So yeah, we also think that these are probably, lawyers of some sort. So the painting on the wall is her grandfather. Maybe he built the house, but
wait, the back over here, this painting.
Yes.
Oh, this older gentleman looking down upon the situation. Okay, that is a character in the scene. Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah. So she is losing the house from her debts. Obviously, lots of signs of poverty around. And yeah, we are indecisive on her body language, and but I think that she looks unhappy but strong. Like there's not pleading, there's not tears. But I think that there is a sort of protective body language. So, some sort of quote about like I don't want her begging, I want like a sort of determined, 6 more months, like that she has thoughts and she can do it, but it hasn't happened yet.
Okay, so fascinating. So I think you're seeing something similar that um that Donna was seeing, and maybe Torun, that this is okay. I need a little bit more time to figure something out. She's not giving in at this moment. She's not acquiescing. She's not frightened. she is considering the situation that she's in, which seems difficult. And you're also imagining kind of like lawyers and stuff that she has to deal with. Okay, good.
Hey,
Just
hey,
to,
look,
yeah.
can I also tell you what I think is
No,
happening?
no, no, no. Ifat,
Oh,
no, you may not share. I selectively pick the people that I want to hear from, and anybody. No, 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 no. You don't. No, not at all. Of course, Ifat. I want to hear everything you've got to say.
yeah.
Okay, go for it.
Okay.
Tell
All
us
right.
what you're seeing.
Right. So I'm really unsure what is going on. And at first I kind of thought she's probably the wife of the man with the mustache, and like the two men are busy like doing some kind of accounting or something like that. And she just wants attention and they're not giving it to her. But then actually, when I noticed how many crosses there are in the room, and I started looking at the direction of his gaze and the way she's standing, I started changing my mind. And because when you looked up close at his face, it kind of looks to me like he's holding a cross and he's looking in her direction. He's not actually looking at the paper. He looks like he's looking at her. And like, why is she there? I mean, she is on the opposite side. She's kind of like holding her clothes in a way that like she's like embarrassed, but she also seems defiant at the same time. So the interpretation I came up with is she did some sort of, I don't know, something to bring shame to the family. And I don't think she feels like she should be ashamed of it, but it got them in trouble, and now they need to hire like this lawyer priest guy to like figure out how to help them. I mean, I don't know if any of it is right, but that's kind of like what I came up with. And this guy, I don't know if he's probably her brother, and that's maybe their house, maybe not, I don't know, but they probably lost a lot of money just trying to get themselves out of the trouble that she brought upon the family.
Yeah.
So he's kind of pissed off, and she's feeling uncomfortable, but kind of not regretting whatever it is she did. So that's my story.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ifat. Yours is the only opinion that matters here.
Of course, of course.
I so and I really like the way you described kind of your the change you went through at first, thinking, okay, maybe they they kind of related to each other, but then you started to see a little bit of how she's maybe not in a position where she's being supported by these men, that he's kind of staring at her uh sternly, and that now she's kind of looking a little bit like she's under pressure here. So we've got here's a little bit of a lesson in art appreciation. Stephanie, I see your hand up, and I'll get to one thing. Remember, the goal of reading the artwork is not to end up with your version of events and then proving it that it's right, but to try to find what is actually there. And you want to provide like scenarios as hypotheses. So here's a little bit of an exercise I'd like, if you want to try, to come up with one sentence of what is going on in this scene that everybody here would agree upon, that is there in the painting, that we know for sure.
The men are busy. They've been working for several hours.
Oh, that's an, oh, if I don't know if you're intending to share that.
Oh, I didn't know the microphone was.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. But I like that observation. I like that observation. So that's one thing to indicate. To kind of step back and say, okay, what would we all agree upon here, and then see some more in the scene. Why is she there? Is it lawyers? Are these men going away? In each of the different scenarios that we're presenting, there are grains of truth, and we want to get to the grain that unites them all. Okay, so let's see. Looking at the chat at some more observations in the meantime. Tarun, maybe the painting is of the man who's sitting with his back to us. So this man right here in the painting. Maybe I'm wondering if to me, he looks bald. He looks like he still has hair. That's my quick observation there. And He looks like he's subservient in this situation too. He's not the main one. He landed the torn letter near the basket. Yeah, there's stuff on the floor. What's going on? Donna, you have kind of a general statement of what you're seeing. She is in danger. So this young woman is in danger, and maybe we can even get a little bit more detailed here. Leonid, you have tension is in the air. Okay, I think we'd all agree upon that. All right, I'm going to give it a stab. Here's one off the cuff sentence summary of what we're seeing. A young woman is meeting with two men who are in the process, who have some kind of authority over her. It's a broad statement. And they're in the midst of waiting for her answer in regards to something that stirs seriousness, stirs maybe anger in them towards her. Okay, that's long-winded. But I'm seeing two characters. One in this moment who is having to make a faithful decision, while others are the ones who are holding the sword over her head. Whether that's you're staying here and not going to the New World with us, or you owe back taxes, or maybe as Ifat was thinking, it might, like, I like what is that phrase, the Christian lawyer, the something like that. There's that crucifix right in the middle. Does it have something to do with that? Okay. There's still a lot of dangling questions here. Like, why are those papers there? What exactly is their relationship? But it doesn't look like a situation that is tenable. Ready for a title?
Oh, I got a thing. You didn't call on me.
Oh, you're right, Stephanie. Stephanie, what have you got?
I have a different story from everybody else's.
Now,
A girl.
Hold on a moment. Hold on a moment. Think about this, Stephanie. I know the particulars are going to be different, but in your mind, is the essence of the story going to be the same?
That she's in danger, yes.
Yep, there you go. Go ahead. Share it. What are you seeing?
I focus on her first. She's standing with her arm across her stomach and her hand at her throat. So she feels in great danger and she's protecting her unborn child. And the man at the table is saying, what else could we do with you, Elspeth? How can we have a pregnant, unmarried servant girl working in our house? And if she were to respond, she would suggest that the man who's back to us would marry her because it's his child.
Okay. All right, that's throwing
Notice all the
melodrama in.
things in the
Okay.
room, the fact that we don't, the picture of the man on the
Yeah.
wall, the king, and the Christ thing. It looks like it's a paperweight, but yeah, there's a lot of symbolism that we, about doing what's expected and following the traditions and the morals. But she's definitely in the center.
So two things I want to pick out from that I'm seeing. One, she is dressed differently, so perhaps she is a servant towards them. I mean, they've got cuffs and collars. Second, the fact that she's got her arm over her stomach could be an indication, but it prompts me to ask the question: is there any more suggestion that this is the particular issue, that this is something sexual that happened, and that she might be pregnant or something like that? So I would be looking out for more suggestions to that, and I think there are clues that are spread all over. Okay.
Okay, and that man who's back to us, he's not looking at her.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
The other man doesn't realize what went on, and so he's feels confident to be accusatory. And how can we keep you here? And she's deciding whether she's going to take the risk of saying something.
Yeah.
Because otherwise she'll be out without a reference and all the things that usually happen in those days.
Yeah, there's a risk that she's contemplating at this moment. I think that's something that's universal in everything that we're seeing. Okay, title for this painting. Do I have it? It is Let me see. I don't think it's going to satisfy us. Um, all right. The title is Interrogation. Interrogation. I'll put if the artist name in the chat and the title in the chat. And Daphne, what do you mean it's more serious? Tell us more about that.
Donna, not Daphne.
Oh, sorry, Donna. My eyes are bad. Go ahead, Donna.
Interrogation, especially I think in those days and with the religious symbolism there, that just doesn't bode well for her at all.
Okay. All right. Does that change anything else for anybody else in terms of what's... I think for me, when I hear that title, I'm immediately drawn to his face. He looks like he could be part of the Spanish Inquisition with that expression. And it looks like we've been describing Stephanie and Tarun, and she's in the midst of trying to figure out how to answer the question. What is she going to say? And Allison, the title brings up a more moral connotation, less financial difficulty, and which matches with, yeah, that religious symbol there. Okay, so I think what we can be certain of is that she's in the midst of being interrogated in something severe, and they're waiting for this answer from her, and she's trying to figure out how to answer. What we are less certain about is exactly what she's being interrogated over. Is it some sexual indiscretion? Is it some other kind of defiance? Was she dancing? I don't know. Was she, or maybe she's being interrogated about somebody else's behavior, or whatever else. We don't know the particulars of that. But we do, I think, have enough to kind of empathize with her. If you ought to try to intellectually understand what the situation is more precisely, maybe you can think of connections to other stories. What are some other kind of interrogation scenes that you might think of that could help us see more in this one? Or interrogation scenes that you've been a part of? I'm remembering the movie The Dangerous Beauty. A long time ago, movie about a courtesan in Renaissance Italy who was being accosted by the church, and she is there in the midst of being interrogated. Oh, think of any trial movie. Is it like Tom Cruise and Jack Nicholson? She's definitely no Jack Nicholson in A Few Good Men. She's trying to handle, yeah.
Oh, sorry, I have a memory.
Yeah, go for it.
So, I mean, I was trying to think back of a time when I was judged unfairly.
Yeah.
And like when I was a kid, I don't remember where I found it, but I found like this wallet. And so I developed this hobby of just going around the house, and every time I found a coin somewhere, I would put it in my wallet. And I just like collected a lot of coins. And then one day my parents found it and they thought I was stealing money. And I was like really upset because I didn't think I was stealing. I just thought I was collecting coins. I didn't realize that they belonged to anybody. And like my parents got so mad, and like they wouldn't believe me that I didn't try to steal. So I kind of feel, that's what this reminds me of.
Yeah, this hurts.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, Ifat. So this gentleman right here, I'll call him gentleman, Does he remind you of your parents in that moment?
No, I
Okay.
mean,
Do you remember kind of being like her?
yeah, I was kind of like, I was upset. And yeah, I was upset because I didn't feel like I was really doing something wrong, but I was also embarrassed. Yeah, so.
So here's the you've I love the identification of a similar situation, and then to make it even more personal to see whether or not you connect with her personally. Is this how you reacted? Kind of, I've got to think about this hard, or were you more defiant, or were you more supplicating and saying, "Oh, I didn't do anything wrong"? And you can kind of think to yourself, is this the model of what I'd like how I'd like to react? Or is this too passive or
I mean, I don't really remember the details, but I
yeah.
just remember like I didn't really have much of a choice,
Yeah.
about what was going to happen. I think they took my wallet with the coins, and I was I was like upset. But
Yeah.
I think I was mostly defiant. Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
didn't talk back much, but that's how I felt. I felt
Yeah.
defiant.
Okay. No, that's great. I love that. I can think of many times when my parents have like had talks with me, or teachers have had talks with me. Uh why did you yell out that curse word in the middle of class, Luke? I don't know. I am not, yes, I'm drawing a personal experience from sophomore year in art class. I yelled out shit in the middle of class. I don't remember why, but I got detention for that. That's just the first thing that my brain fed me. So let's see. Leonid, looks like the end of the interrogation because a lot of papers are being discarded. Yeah, I like those papers. It looks like there's been a lot of research done to try to get to the bottom of this, whatever these two men are getting to the bottom of, these two lawyer-like men. Donna, just rewatching Wolf Hall, Henry VIII, lots of interrogations, deaths. Oh man. Is this life or death for her, or is it something a little bit smaller scale? Oh, and Stephanie, you're thinking the papers don't have anything to do with the interrogation, that they were Mhm. that they stopped work in order to deal with the situation. Yeah, I'm very confused by the whole location. This looks like an almost ad hoc little tribunal. Maybe in the home, maybe they even came from outside the home. That's what, when several of you said lawyers, I was thinking, okay, they're coming to do research. I mean, looking at the will or things like that. And then they set up something, and in this house, this is not an official looking place. And my immediate thought is that they have come here in order to do this research and are questioning her. Donna, is that another cross in the upper corner by the window? Oh, this up here,
Yeah.
kind of looking down. So that's adding a little bit more to judgment, and maybe even she's send. Is this basket down here hers? Rewinding the scene, did she come in and place that basket in the ground, and she's got those papers? How long has she been here? Has this been a while, or should they, in their process, they're just having her come in, answer a question, and then she's leaving? And is she going to give them the answer that they want if you push play in the scene? Are they going to be happy with her answer?
I have
Okay,
a question.
go for it.
Um, look, when you pulled back just now, see all those bits of red on her shawl?
Yeah.
Is is her ear, is it bleeding or is that just part of the fabric?
I think it's part of the fabric. It's a floral fabric.
Because it doesn't look like a pattern. It looks like there's blood on her ear.
I'm looking. I bet we could find like there's red here, kind of red. I think it's just the paint quality. Oftentimes, I see a lot of it's a common thing I see in a lot of these artworks, especially like images that things look maybe a little bit too red and are misinterpreted for. I don't see any reason why. I mean, this looks more like floral than blood to me. Torun, you have maybe she's a witness to something that they're researching. It doesn't seem to affect her directly, but maybe her friend or family or boyfriend, as she's still protecting herself. I think that's where I'm leaning to. This is not life or death for her. This is something that she's got to give thought about whether or not she's going to rat on someone. Perhaps it's a pregnancy there too. Yeah. If I were to, there's nothing on the website in Hungarian National Gallery, so maybe I'll learn some Hungarian and ask whoever it is here a little bit more about this painting. But if you do find more, it'd be interesting. And I bet that there's probably more to the background story to this painting. I want to end with your favorite detail. Your favorite detail. What detail do you especially like? And when I ask for favorite detail, you could pick up, oh, I really like the texture on this. But maybe if you think about what is a detail that's meaning rich for me, that's packed with like, this captures a lot of the meaning that I'm getting from this scene. I'll give one example for me. Oh, I forgot who it was that was pointing out the hand. A couple of you think point out the hand mid. It stopped right there in the writing. With the pen kind of up, like that waiting. That feels like, oh no. Whatever I say next is going to be recorded, and that fills me kind of with fear and dread to see that hand. Favorite detail. Daphne, her calm, pensive gaze. It is really calm. It's much calmer than I thought when I was kind of glancing at her protective hands at first and the hand by her throat. There is this is where seeing the painting in person would be helpful because this is not the best image. I think there's probably a little bit more detail that could be gained. Ifat, you like her hands. And if you want to follow up, Ifat, with anything in particular about her hands that you like.
Well, they're very expressive. I mean, to me, the way she holds her hand like really tight on her chest and close to her face. It's almost like the way a person would hold their clothes if they expect somebody to try to pull them off,
Oh,
right? Or they're trying to hide like their stomach. I mean, physically, it's a defensive posture,
mhm.
sort of.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, I just think it's really well made.
Hmm. Yeah. What it makes me think of those statues of Aphrodite, the ancient Greeks did, like the Venus de Milo, where the process of, oh, you caught me while I'm bathing, I've got to cover up.
Mhm.
Let's see. Torun, the position of the mustached man's hand holding the pen. Oh, yeah, yeah. You and me, Torun, yeah. Oh, that'd be an interesting sculpture. Um, Donna, ominous, her body language. I also found myself looking the window and thinking about the curtain and flower. Yeah, there's this really strange flower going on, and it's not growing out of his head. Right here, there are flowers outside, and one that's kind of peeked in here. This is not like a detention center. This is a home with bird cage, with map, with flowers, with rug. Yeah. Stephanie, I like the light coming in the alcoved window and the mustache man who reminds me of Rhett Butler. That, but no, it doesn't. No, it's not Rhett Butler. Rhett Butler has a snarky smile. Like maybe it's Rhett Butler at the end where he says, "Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn." When he's like there. But okay, he does physically look like it. Okay. Final thoughts, observations for this painting? What year? Oh, I didn't put it down. Here, I'll put down the name of the artist again. I think it's easily Googleable. Mid 19th century is de facto. Okay. Oh, Turin, it strangely gives you a calm feeling. Yeah, you know, when you're saying that, Turin, what this is making me think of is in a play, when you're reading a play, you don't see this scene because it's just dialogue. And this painting can kind of help you teach you to read the play better by being able to visualize that calm moment here, that pregnant pause. Okay. Lena can't get the journey element out, the map. Maybe she's sometimes looks at it and wishes she were, maybe. Yeah, I can see that. What does that map have on it? Is it a map? Oh man. My guess is it's a map, but I wish there were a little bit more detail. And then Donna, yeah, I think basically every Dutch painting, every Vermeer painting has a map in it. But it oftentimes maps do have an indication, or like images on walls are an indication of something that's tied to the narrative that's in the main scene. It is so washed out. All right. I'm willing to stick around for 15 more minutes if anybody wants to do one more quick artwork.
I don't think we can do one in that 15 minutes.
Oh, well, that means no, it'd be just to show and to kind of answer some questions, not to go through the process of everybody's like reading an artwork and going through it. It'd be like just real quick.
Okay, then.
Yep. Yeah, you're right. You're right. If we're reading the artwork like we did this one. Yeah. Okay. Quick feeling. Is this one that if you're like, hey, Luke, I'm determining whether or not you're going to include this on your tour, would you say yes, no, or maybe? If I were to give a tour, then there's a hearty yes. There's a yes. Okay. All right. Yeah. Torrin is like, okay. Yeah.
To compare with what we talked about and see if you get more information that gives you a sense from seeing it in real life.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So this is one that maybe the one that caught my attention the most, the one that I'm most intrigued by. And I'm not gonna give you time to read it, but if you just want to type stuff in the chat as you're making your kind of reading, just like sentence by sentence or observation by observation, and I'll ask questions out loud. Here's the one that I'm so curious about. Okay. Where is she? Why is she holding on to this tree? Why is her head turned up to look? Daphne, great question. Is she climbing or is she still on the ground standing? Oh, thank you, Daphne. I feel like I'm put in the position of I love answering questions. I love being on the receiving end of reading questions. My first impression is that she is standing on the ground because if I were to hold onto a tree like that, it's not giving me any way to. I'm not gripping it in order to climb. Almost hug from afar. Stephanie, my first thought was the birch tree is like the thigh of a giant. She's almost caressing the tree. Yeah. Maybe she's stopping. shopping for a tree to make it into a special piece of furniture. Like going around and finding the right tree. What other observations? That's a really red dress. So red. Donna, you're thinking bird in a tree. What's making you say that, Donna? What do you see that makes you say there's a bird in a tree?
Well, why is she looking up at branches in a tree? And that just made sense that there's a bird. She heard the bird singing. She just stopped and is looking up at the bird. Or it could be any kind of animal. I look at animals in trees all the time.
Susan, thank you, Donna. Susan, she's looking at something in a tree. Okay. Looking more closely at her face, what do you see in her face? Allison, she planted this as a sapling as a child, and now she's struck by how much it has grown. The red emphasizes her adulthood. Okay, as opposed to like wearing white as a child. Is that what you're thinking, Allison? And Daphne, is she looking at a bird? Why is she holding onto the tree? She's looking at bird. Okay. So I'm looking at her face and I'm seeing wide eyes. I'm seeing the mouth slightly parted. If I take the kind of pose, it's one where I'm really looking upwards, like really craning back. Oh, you know what's happening as I'm craning back? I'm falling over behind me. I'm wondering if she's holding onto the tree kind of to steady herself. That's a little thought. Okay, what more? Allison, yeah, yes, pink would seem more childlike. Yeah, I can see that. Stephanie, is she a woman or an older child? Yeah, looking at the age. My guess was like 12 initially, right off the bat. Just looking at the physical development. Maybe she isn't very big. It makes sense that the tree is so much bigger than she is. Yeah, how long does it take a tree to grow? Tarun, the dress isn't really fancy, rather simple, maybe pajamas or informal home clothes. Yeah, there are no frills. I mean, it's not like the dress that the woman in the previous painting was wearing. She impulsively took a walk into the forest in the morning. Oh, okay. So the simplicity of the clothing, Torun, is you're drawing the inference that this is like a kind of random walk in the forest and not necessarily a particular designated spot that she's going to as if she planted a tree beforehand. I see.
Yeah, I think it feels like to me that she's just like, oh, I feel like I need to go into the forest and just enjoy the nature and look at the birds, maybe a squirrel, something like that, and just like I can remember when I was younger and you just go on a stroll basically, and then you take grab of like a lamppost and kind of swing yourself around it and kind of like that's the
Yeah.
feeling I'm getting.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Got it. She's going off on her own. There's nobody else around her. She's in the middle of the forest to kind of just enjoy herself in the forest, swinging around, using the trees as lampposts to swing around. Donna feels Christmassy, though it's not cold weather. Yeah, I'm glad you point out the weather. It is, those sleeves are riding up on her. Then it happened to me at about this age, was just admiring trees when I felt good and walked in a forest. So a little bit like Torun. Yeah. Daphne, I love the thought that she has to hold on in order to support her wonder. That's a nice phrase. There's too much wonder here. I've got to hold on to help me support it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, let's see. And you also, but her shoulders seem strangely hunched. Yeah, they do. They're kind of pulled up. But yeah, they do. Stephanie, red dress makes sense for a child so that the mother can quickly see where the child is. Oh, and maybe she planted this tree when she was 6 and now she's 12. Ifat, I think she's looking at something specific like a bird because she's contorting her neck at a very specific angle. Ifat, you deal with models all the time. Can you tell a little bit more what you mean by she's contorting her neck at a specific angle?
Well, I mean, if she was just looking up, then she wouldn't like have one shoulder higher than the other, and she like her back is going backwards, and she's like pushing her neck down and tilting it. That like it's like she's trying to find a way through the branches to look at something.
I see. So if we're pushing play in the scene, rewind 10 seconds and we push play, there's like movement as she's kind of trying to find the right angle to get to the glimpse that she wants of the thing that's there.
Yeah, I think so.
I can see that. And that might, Daphne, that might explain a little bit of why it looks kind of contorted or hunched right now. Okay. You want a title?
Yes,
Oh.
please.
Oh, I didn't write it down. But I do remember. Okay. I'm 90% sure the title of this painting, The Bird Song.
Hmm.
So when I heard that title, you know, sometimes titles are nice. They give you some background story. Sometimes they're just like innocuous. This one hit me. It's like, yeah, this is what I do. I've got birds in the back, and like, you know, I'm just like, hey, I heard something. I want to see it. And Daphne, I like that word wonder to describe this because I can kind of branch it out to other things as well. You know, have you ever like walked along and then you hear some, I don't know, some beautiful music coming from somewhere, and you ask yourself, where is that music coming from? And you're like, huh, oh, I see, it's coming from that apartment over there. And so I have that sense too. This moment, well, what kind of moment is it? It's a moment when something beautiful strikes you in in the middle of some kind of randomly. I don't think she's like a ornithologist here. Is that what a bird watcher is? An ornithologist? She was going out looking for birds. She hears it and she wants to see where it's from. And that sensation of wanting to see where it's from.
Hmm.
Donna, she really makes you think of Edith Piaf. Yeah, the physical features a little bit like the bundled up hair, and she was called the little bird. It's true. Uh-huh.
Sparrow, I think it was.
Yeah, the little sparrow. That's right. That's right, Stephanie. And Taruna, it also looks like a pregnant belt. Maybe it explains position. Maybe a little bit. Though I've been fooled so many times by dresses indicate that look like they billow out. Not real people, but in art. So many times, like, no, that was just a fashion. Yeah, artist name. Well, Leonid, I promised you a secret revealed. This guy and her. Yeah, same artist.
Oh,
Okay, so let me get that artist name there. So that's a little bit of my technique when I'm like looking at art. I I if there's an artist that I like, I click on that artist to find out all the other artworks in the museum that are by that artist on display. This is the artist name. I don't know. I'm guessing male, but I don't know genders of Hungarian names really well. But maybe somebody here knows. So how would I use this artwork? What kind of moment is this? Maybe I'm going to say supporting my wonder. Like if I hear something, I want to have the curiosity to kind of arch my neck and prop myself up to see where it's coming from. Right? If I hear delight, I want to seek it out. If I get a glimpse of, oh, went whale watching in Quebec, and you know, you kind of when you go whale watching, you look for spouts, like psh, or just hints, and then when you think you catch a glimpse of something, you're like, let me get the best angle I can to try to get a better look and keep the lookout for that. Yeah. How can I get myself on the boat, not fall over the side and clutch at the railings in order to get the best possible view? Roger that, Ifat. Yeah, I want more moments like this. Are there people in your life that you imagine being particularly filled with this kind of search out the wonder in the forest or in literature? Oh, there's a kind of innocence of curiosity. She's not scared of what she's going to find here.
Mhm.
Yeah, Torin, you're saying Daphne. Yeah. So, mhm. Favorite detail or any connections? Allison, thank you very much for joining. I'm starting to think that's Ifat, what you're pointing out about the craning of the neck. That's I'm liking that, because if I shift my perspective and I look at her from the back, I can see her head tilted to the side a little bit more and that shoulder up, which makes her pose look awkward here from the side. Stephanie, look on her face, expectant, on the verge of delight once she sees the bird making that song. Yeah. Yeah. All right, y'all. Keep typing if you're still typing, but I'm gonna wrap it up here. I think I'll be going to there's a good chance I'll be going to Budapest at the end of September and seeing these artworks in person, and I'll report back with what I find. I'm gonna have another salon or something beforehand. And of course there'll be the courses that I mentioned, TTA 201 and that coming up. I invite you to put a donation in if you'd like. But otherwise, maybe I'll get up to 30 EuroSalons. I think that might be a good goal, to get up to 30 EuroSalons before I put pen to paper. So thank you all very much. And Daphne, like the fact that she's holding on to the tree. I'm not sure if she had to hold on to her balance or if she wants to feel what is going on too. Bye-bye, y'all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Luke. This was great fun.
Good.
Thank you.
I love hearing from each and every one of you. Bye-bye.